Get up, get up, get up, or sit down, sit down, sit down, whichever it might be, however you choose to watch the show. It's time for Outlaw Radio live on a Monday evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer. And I'm in the building once again to bring you our first show of the week, Outlaw Radio live on a Monday evening, live from the Chocolate City Studios. And I'm not alone tonight. As you can see, I do have my co-host here with me for the first time in a minute. I want to make him feel welcome. Welcome back, my brother. How you doing? Fact checker himself, Ian C. Jordan. What to do, man?
I am good. I'm doing well. I'm enjoying posting in the People's News Network. Everybody, please go there directly after the show or during the show if you got another device, just to go and just share a lot of the articles that are there. You definitely will be enlightened by a lot of pieces that are there. And a special shout to my man, Ernest Walker, because now I see why he has no chill for certain people and certain political sides of the aisle. Because, I used to be like, man, dog, I'll be trying to chill and whatever, but I see his perspective because there is one political party. That's why we're independent. But the Republican Party, as of today, just completely aligns with white supremacy and racism. They just do. And I don't understand how anybody of color can support it. That's it.
All right, y'all know we're going to get into all of that. This is what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until whenever we choose to cut the machine off simply because we own the machine. Like I said, it's Outlaw Radio Live. If you want to get involved with this conversation, please don't hesitate to call our phone line, which is 262-202-5131. That's 262-202-5131. We also have a very active chat room in which a lot of people participate in the show. So if you are a part of our Outlaw family, or you are a new listener, or you're somebody who's just now checking out the show for the first time, you should know that the chat room gets live. I mean, really, really live. Like, people go at it in the chat room. So welcome to the show, man. I hope everybody's weekend went well. I hope your summer's been going well. Hope you've been prosperous and everything has been fortuitous for you. And welcome to the show. We're going to try to make a lot of sense. We're going to try to empower, educate, and enlighten, which is what we do. I do need to say this is a foundational Black American platform. And I know that that's pretty much a hot topic right now, and a lot of people feel how they feel about foundational Black Americans. But I identify as one. It is about lineage. It's not a club. It's not a bumper sticker. It's not a website. It's about where your people come from. And I happen to be very well informed of where mine come from. And I'm also very proud to be the descendant of people who were able to persevere some of the most inhumane conditions and treatments in the history of this planet. Therefore, I acknowledge them by referring to myself as a foundational Black American, and I feel like I'm a descendant of the people who actually built this country. So if you hear some FBA topics tonight, don't get upset. And if you do, then it is what it is. That's on you. Make sure you check out the People's News Network Facebook group as well. That is our sister group on Facebook. It's my personal Black BET. So much Black information and so much Black commentary in there from other platforms as well as Outlaw Radio. So make sure you check that out. Shout out to Brendan Hayes. I see him in the chat room. He is an admin in that group, and he's also one of the top contributors. Brendan he contributes more to that group than anybody else. So shout out to you, Brendan. Ian, how's your weekend, man? How's everything going, man?
Man, weekend been good. I've been really busy, man, at work and all that. But I got to be real, man. The news cycle has been nuts. Like, I texted you earlier today about something I'm pretty sure we're going to bring up on the show, but it's no chill right now, dog. And it's looking really, really good. And I've been trying to, pay attention to a lot of the sports and shit a little bit more. The Brewers doing real well because I ain't really been paying attention to no sports, no politics, just more so the fighting shit and just making money. But I just kind of chilled off a little bit. I was working a lot, but I tuned in and I saw some political stuff that I really was happy about. And I see that the Milwaukee Brewers, man, they doing real well, dude. I'm not surprised because they went to the NC National League. What do they call it? NCLS, I think it's a National Championship League series or whatever, where it's one series before the World Series. And I know they lost to the Dodgers. And I predicted that just because they beat the Dodgers ass all last year. Like the Dodgers didn't beat us once, and then we went to the playoffs and we got swept. Dodgers, they're a world champion organization. You know how it is with professional sports, bro. It's really hard. And one other thing, I was watching highlight video of the Packers safety. What's his name? KB McKinley, or what's his name?
McKinley.
McKinley. And dude, I mean, don't get me wrong. I pay attention to our team, but I must not have been paying that much attention because that young man is a ball hog. He good, man. And I didn't realize how good he actually was until they had him on the top 100 new players in football. You know how they do that top 100 list. He on there. He like 75. I was like, damn, he real good, man. So,
Yeah, Josh McKinney, he's one of the best players in the league. He has been. He was an important free agent acquisition for the Packers a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He came in and set a Packer record. I think his first 7 games he had 7 interceptions. So yeah, he's one of the top DBs in the NFL.
Yeah, wow.
As far as the Brewers go, yeah, they have been very successful over the past 10 years. They've set benchmarks for winning and stuff like that. But the Brewers are still a small market. I believe one of the smallest markets in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
And so when they played the Dodgers last year, I kind of expected them to lose because the Dodgers had a $100 million payroll, and the Brewers weren't even close. So
nope.
But once again, they do have the best record in baseball. They look very well during the regular season. We'll see if this is finally the year where they can break through the glass ceiling. But
yeah,
a lot of pride in the Brewers from the city of Milwaukee because they have been winning for a while. So they've made the playoffs, I don't know, 7-8 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah, dude. I get in props because they're such a small market team. And a side note, I posted this in News Undone TV, and I think I posted it in the People's too. I guess their the two quality pitchers they have apparently are 2 of the best in the league, and they are the fastest in NL history to get to 200 strikeouts. I was like, damn. Man.
Your signal is really rough. I don't know how you're trying a different hookup or something, but
no, that's the same.
It's glitching out a little bit. I don't know what's going on. Be patient with it. We'll see what's going on. Brendan Hayes said, "Did I see the Aaron Rodgers interview?" I did not. I just heard that he called Fauci, Dr. Fauci, a coward. But I haven't watched the entire thing yet. I'm gonna have to check it out. Thanks for putting it on my radar, Brendan. Aaron Rodgers was one of my favorite NFL players and has, to me, one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. Yeah. But once he left Green Bay, once you leave the home team, I don't pay you any attention anymore. So I'd have to go back and check it out. I'm pretty sure he made some interesting comments. He's an interesting dude in terms of his opinions, and he's always uncut. So I can give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But you all know what tonight is. You all know what this represents. This is the eve of our primary for the Wisconsin governorship, or some people might like to refer to it, the gubernatorial election. And so this has been a very, very, very rough, in my opinion, a rough election cycle for the brothers. And so we've come down to the primary. A lot of people, what's a primary? The primary is basically to see how we go from, I don't know, 5 or 6 candidates to 2. So we'll know who will be head to head. And then the general election, which is the final countdown, basically the final straw, is in November 3rd. So tomorrow we will see if Brother David Crowley can overcome Ms. Hong, and overcome this democratic socialism wave and take on Tom Tiffany, the Republican candidate who is a Trump MAGA supporter. We'll see if he can, move on in the election, to see if he can battle for governor and to see if he has a chance to be a governor. Ace Cooley, I see you, man. He said, "What up, fam?" Ace is in the building. I think the state of Wisconsin is in the limelight right now. First of all, because this has been such a goofy process, but also here's an 86% white state that is very, very racist, especially up north. And race does matter in this country, and in this state in particular. This is one of the whitest states in the union. It's a battleground state. It's very important in terms of the presidential election. But we've only had a couple statewide elected officials. Mandela Barnes, who was in the race, had been just the second one. And a lot of people's opinion, especially mine, northern Wisconsin is not ready to see a non-white governor, in particular, a brother from the city of Milwaukee. So we'll see, though. I don't want to be too pessimistic, and I don't want it to rub off on people because that tends to happen. But we'll see. Let's. People are saying David has a chance. Maybe so. I think that southeastern Wisconsin might be a little fired up. There are some people who may be disoriented with the process. I know the way the Democrats have handled this race has been very disappointing to myself as well as other people. Not very happy with that party as a whole, on a whole, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, and hopefully the brother will get a chance to do what he does. I see you, Sire in the chat room. Sire Williams, what up, man? How you doing, man? He said, "Good evening." #Outlaws. What's up, my brother? How you doing, man? I know you used to come rock with us all the time. It's been a while. Welcome back. Welcome back. A said, "Come on, DC." He said, "No, say no to APAC." Okay. Um, what do you think about this election and all the weirdness that's gone down during this cycle, Ian?
Okay. Yes, it's a lot of weirdness, and Evers not supporting Mandela. That was some wild shit, to be honest with you. We always talk about that. But if you look at Tiffany's legislative record and you look at Trump being underwater in Wisconsin, I'm just going to quote something from my page that I put on. Healthcare and prescription policies, tariffs, and import taxes. He co-sponsored the 2020 Safe and Secure Medicine Supply for Hardworking Americans Act, and it is proposing import duties up to 25% on foreign pharmaceuticals. We all know that a lot of foreign pharmaceuticals you can get inexpensively, so that's going to affect a lot of Wisconsinites. Trump, I believe, is underwater in Wisconsin. I believe he has a 57% disapproval rate. I'll check that again, but I know they don't like him like they used to. My point in bringing that up is they're seeing that all the stuff that he ran on, and Tom Tiffany supports everything Trump supports to the tune of 98%. He voted with him. People are going to kind of be like, you know what? We might go with DC, who, and I'm with you, Kev, about the black. I don't know if they're ready for that, but he's way more moderate than the guy that wants to fucking cancel Juneteenth for no reason, if that makes any sense. For us, at least. And far as to the white people, DC is just going to be talking about, well, you know what? We need to do this. You can get your foreign medicine, all these different things, Medicare, Medicaid. He's going to speak on that. And my last point about that is people will be like, well, they'll say, look at Milwaukee. You mismanaged Milwaukee. Milwaukee been fucked up for years. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are going to give him a pass on that because it's like you said, KB, the motherfuckers don't live in Milwaukee anyway. They just know what they hear. And Milwaukee is a drain. But they might be like, you know what? Do we want this guy or do we want the guy that's riding with the guy we don't like right now? That's what it's going to come down to. And I predict if DC beats Hong, which Marquette polls are saying she's 20 points ahead of him, so it's unlikely. But let's just say he wins and he beats her, he will become the first black governor of Wisconsin. I'm calling my shot now. He'll beat Tiffany. Tiffany's not a good candidate. I don't care what these motherfuckers say.
First of all, I think people have to understand that David Crowley is the county executive, the first black county executive, and he's over Milwaukee County, not the city of Milwaukee. So I would hope that people are so silly that they would attribute all of the problems that the city of Milwaukee has to his leadership. You got to know who to go after. Cavalier Johnson, Mayor Cavalier Johnson is in charge of the city of Milwaukee. So if you want to go at somebody for the multitude of problems that Milwaukee has, you have to go at our mayor. And even in his case, he's not necessarily directly responsible for everything because it was pretty much a shit show when he inherited it. So, but let's not give DC credit or discredit him for something he doesn't deserve it for. But like I said, I think it's the state. This state is just so mostly rural. This is a mostly rural state and a state that does not have a lot of diversity throughout it. Like most of the minority population or the people of color live in southeastern Wisconsin. Once you get outside of that realm, you're talking about lily white land. And so, but I do want to talk about some issues because of the tomfoolery that's been going on so much during this race, and who's dropping out and who's coming back in, and who's Dirk McGurk with tweets, and who's having sex with young nubile white women. Uh, we haven't talked about the issues. There's been very little conversation about who stands for what and who wants to do what. Ace Cooley says, "Fuck Tom." He's in the chat room. He says, "Just run on the fact that he's an APAC fuck boy. As a matter of fact, it was Scott Walker that fucked up Milwaukee anyway."
That's
Uh,
so true.
but I want to say one of the things that I've seen from Miss Hong is that she wants to go at the school voucher program, the school choice voucher program. And
Stupid.
and if a lot of people don't know what that is, that's basically that is just this movement we had in Wisconsin to free up education for people who maybe couldn't afford for their children to go to expensive private schools. So if your income was in a certain realm or range, you could get your child to go to a top private school and you wouldn't have to pay. You get what they call a voucher. So she wants to get rid of that. Now I've heard David talk about, he's discussed the state of the Department of Corrections and how it's operated in the state, and he's also talked about he wants to decriminalize marijuana. So there's a couple different issues here that we would deem important. As far as the voucher program, I think that a lot of these schools that have been untouched by what I would call normal society in terms of dealing with kids of different races, different cultures, different economic status. Families have had different economic statuses. I think that a lot of times it can disrupt their equilibrium, and it can disrupt sometimes their curriculum because you get kids who come from inner city schools that have been poorly performing and they're not necessarily prepared. But I think it's a necessity. I think you have to do something like this to keep the scales balanced because you can't allow people who have money to have kids who are raised in schools that continuously prepare them more thoroughly than poor people who actually are in tune with their child's education and want the best for them should have the opportunity to have their children, if they can achieve, go to the top schools. So I don't feel like this program needs to be utilized. I'm sorry, eliminated. But I do wonder about how it's affected public schools because to me, public schools are the most important resource you have in a community. I think that your public schools should be very strong. And I think that all the resources you can get should be poured into them because they are free and they are there for the citizens to be able to send their kids, for citizens to be able and families to be able to send their children to a school and get a quality education and prepare them for the world and the workforce. And I think that in a lot of cases, we start doing all these choice schools and these voucher programs and all this, it took away from public schools. I know when I was young, growing up in school, I went to MPS. I attended MPS K through 12. And I can say MPS worked when I was growing up. We went to school, we learned how to read, we learned math, we learned basic thinking skills. Now, not everybody graduated a genius. I'm not saying that. But it was a functioning unit. I think it's a lot more dysfunctional now than it was then. And it has to do with people taking resources away from it, but also has to do with, truancy and the community kind of moving away from making sure kids go to school and do what they're supposed to do in terms of getting their education. So I don't know if I'm necessarily with her getting rid of the school voucher program. My son went to a private school, but I didn't qualify for the voucher. But I know that there were some kids who got to go to that school and their parents didn't have to pay like I did. And they went for free, which used to bother me a little bit because I used to be like, this is bullshit. But I'm the one who chose to send him there. So I could have always sent him to MPS where my tax dollars were going in the first place, but I chose not to. But it's as a parent, you gotta really look up and invest in what is the best option for your child, from classroom size to curriculum to environment, all these kinds of things. You got to take that into account. And please don't believe white ice is colder, so you're going to send your kids off to some suburban school very far away, and that's going to guarantee them the best education, because once you do that, subject them to a lot of other things such as racism and being
I can speak on it. RJ went to DSHA
and being treated like, less than they should be. So you got to make up your mind which one it is you want. I see you in the chat room, Dion. What's going on, man? How you doing? But yeah, I hope that people are going to those polls tomorrow. And, I'd like to see David square off against Tiffany and go
I
ahead.
would too.
I think it'd be a very interesting race, but also with the Democratic Socialist movement that Hung represents, that's going to be an interesting race as well to square off against these good old boys, these GOPs. So, and that's the latest trend in politics is these Democratic Socialists. So, this turned out to be something way more interesting than I thought it would be when we first started the countdown towards this election last year. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
I know that there is a lot of anti-Republican sentiment.
Yep.
I know that people in this country, depending on where you're standing at, have basically had enough of the Republican mentality. A lot of people feel like that the Republicans have pretty much put the screws to this country over the last few years, and I think a lot of it trickles down from Trump. There are so many people that are upset with Trump that are just don't really think highly of President Trump, and he obviously
No,
is a Republican. So
not at all. And it's funny you said that, KB. Like I've had interactions with a lot of these motherfuckers. Usually online. They're a lot of them are agitators. They talk a lot of shit, bro, but they don't really back it up. I was in a business transaction. I was dealing with this gentleman. He voted for Trump or whatever, so me knowing that, we already know where my mind went. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm already having an issue with you because you with that shit far as this last time, like after everything that happened, and you can sit and look at me and be like, well, I voted for him, and you sound happy about it. But he did break down that it's not good that he actually won. Because at first I thought the conversation was going to go different, but he did say it, and he was just like, I regret it. He was like, the guy's not doing a good job, and I really thought that he can make prices go down just because. And I was like, why? And I was like, there was no evidence to support that. He was like, when we were in COVID, gas prices were lower. I'm like, yeah, because nobody was going anywhere. I said, OPEC determines the price of gasoline, and if nobody's driving and everybody's at home, then prices are not going to, the gas gallons are not going to be as much. He didn't even know that. So it's really frustrating because it goes to what I say about the average Trump supporter. They don't understand government, they don't understand economics, and they don't understand business and how it actually works. So it is what it is, bro. Sad.
Well, there's a lot of people that talk about Francesca Hong saying that, she's been diagnosed as bipolar and mentally ill, and she's
Something wrong with her.
pretty left-leaning in some of her opinions. I know
She's a weirdo,
point,
bro.
she was a defund the police person. She's talked about um, comments about whiteness and all kinds of crazy things.
Cancel Thanksgiving. Fuck out of here.
She's very 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 radical. So we'll see. Who is this in the chat room? Or we got a YouTube chat person trolling us. Says Lisa, is that what that says? Liz Cooley?
That's Liz. Yeah, I know her.
How about that Spider-Man movie?
I think she thought she was sending me that because I shared the show with her, and she sent me a message back.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know. Is that a troll? Are we getting trolled?
Oh no, she ain't no troll.
But we will see what Wisconsin wants, man, and we'll see what the people want. I think that's what every election comes down to, is what the people want, and so we'll see. But we'll also see if southeastern Wisconsin is ready to get up and say, look, we're trying to get a black man put in Madison, and if we're gonna get up and really vote for him. So that's gonna be an interesting thing. I like to see. I'm gonna want to know the voter turnout, the percentages, and how many votes DC was able to get. It's gonna be a very telling thing when it comes to, and anybody who's coming behind him as a brother that's gonna run for an election. I think this is an important one to look at to see what the precedent is, so that by the time if you want to run, you'll be able to see what your chances are and where you can zig when you should have zagged. Now I got a caller on the line. I don't recognize his number. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dion, how's it going?
Oh yeah, I forgot Dion got multiple numbers. Now that I think of it, you have called from this one before.
He act like he trapping.
Yeah, you never know. Trap. But anyway, so you said she's talking about canceling Because I'm voting for her. I'm voting for her tomorrow. Y'all already know that.
For sure.
I didn't know she was talking about canceling Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think Thanksgiving should be canceled, though. I don't feel like Thanksgiving is nothing. Why would we want to celebrate the slaughter and murdering and the conquering and colonizing of other people's land? That we might as well celebrate us being a slave then. You know,
I get where you're coming from, D. But if you don't like it, then you ain't got to celebrate it. I don't think anybody. I don't think it should be canceled though. Damn, they said that about Juneteenth. That's what Tiffany's saying.
But I do agree in canceling that though. But I'm gonna get out there and vote tomorrow. I'm trying to see because I gotta go to this funky ass school in the morning because I hate that I'm at that school right now because that's the school where the polling gonna be, and I gotta vote at my polling location, and my polling location is Madison, so I gotta go around the corner, you know what I'm saying, to vote around there. What the fuck is you doing? You better not be pissing on my floor. Hello, what I was about to say. So but I hate not to vote for David, but like I said though, man, maybe if he would have stayed in the race, I just think he's too neutral. He's you know what I'm saying? And like we don't need nobody like that. Either you gonna represent us or you ain't gonna represent us. You know what I'm saying? That's it, that's all. You know what I'm saying? All that you trying to play in safe because when you try to play in safe with both sides, you become dangerous to us. You feel what I'm saying? Because if them people they get in your ear and say, hey, we're gonna put you in office, but you gotta shit on these niggas. And that's what most likely might happen. You know what I'm saying? Shit on us. And we don't need nobody to shit on us. You know what I'm saying? It's big folks as it is. You know what I'm saying? We just be trying to make it and get by.
I do have one question though for you, D. Historically, what has Representative Hong done for Black people? Because I know historically she's the Asian Hate Act. I know she supported that. There were a couple other things, and I'm gonna do some more research because I didn't see anything. So thinking that she might be more for us, I'm not sure about that though, D. I don't think.
No, she's not. No. I know she's not for us. And to be honest with you, normally I come back and have blah 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 blah. But to be honest, she hasn't done anything for us per se. But who is Tom Tiffany? Mandela, like I said, I want to vote for him because I feel like he been doing too much. This man in the last, we'll say 5 years or maybe 6 years, and ran for 3 positions. He tried to unseat Lena, try to be a senator, and then now he's trying to do this. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when Scott Walker was trying to be president, people didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just certain roles you got to play. I don't know nothing about the lieutenant governor. See, she's in Sarah Rodriguez. Joe Brennan, I don't know nothing about him. So, it's either shit. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like your back against the wall. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, as far as with her, no, I don't believe she has a Black agenda. No, I don't. Like right now, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, politically, people are really, they not fraternizing us anymore. They're really telling us on the down. With Donald Trump's sentiment and all the racist rhetoric came in and made people, look at Black people, we don't have a problem and we don't have issues, like y'all just cry babies for yourself up by your bootstraps. So yeah, I just feel like she don't have any issues, an agenda for Black people, and most people don't. Like if you really look at it, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like a narrative, like kind of unpopular with the majority of people. They don't have no type of agenda for Black people because the majority of people in America is white, or even in Wisconsin is white. So they come here and well, I'm gonna do this for Black, and I'm gonna do this for Black, and that's suicide. You know what I'm saying? Like you playing political suicide, so you just might as well play it safe like she been doing, and it is what it is. But other than that, shit, I really can't say. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. Shit, well, nobody get the vote there.
I'm trying to keep the chat room right quick.
Go ahead.
A says I'm voting for DC. Said he's better than this Asian chick on psychology meds. Ewok says when we get that day off and we get to see our family and eat good, we don't be thinking about or celebrating pilgrims. said it many times.
KB, that is such a good point. Yes, I don't.
Terry Walker said that Asian lady wants to end school choice, but we know she
That's
wants the voucher
dumb as
program
fuck.
to end. She has no idea. I bet you she doesn't have a clue about any issues in regards to black people. But and that's neither here nor there for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people in this election, what we've discovered is they let all kinds of things become the determining factor on who they're going to vote for, besides what the truth may be, right? Like, you never let a lie stand in the way of the truth, stand in the way of a good story. Because I've never seen, and this is new for Milwaukee, because normally when there's a black man involved in something, we are usually what they say 10 toes down. I hate using that expression, but we're usually 10 toes down behind them. That's how we got the mayor that we have right now. Yep. But you never seen the unprecedented amount of hate that Mandela Barnes got from black people, his own people. Like they say, it'd be your own people. He got so much hate for a lot of things that just were not accurate. I mean, even my brother here just said, well, he ran for all these different positions. He was a lieutenant governor. He tried to unseat. He tried to take a seat
that's good
taken, right? He didn't win that one. Okay, so he successfully had won the lieutenant governorship after winning a state representative seat, and then now he wants to be governor. I can't understand how people can tell you, I'm mad at you for trying to come up. Like, I don't like
better yourself
because you're too ambitious. Like, I never seen that level. To me, that just looks like hate. Like, and I don't know any black person in particular that has not strived to better themselves. Any progressive black person, I should say. The name of the game when you are involved in anything as a brother or as a sister is to try and get more. Try and rise up. Try to come up. Because if you are the type of person that's about the people, the higher you go, the more people you can bring with you. Now, I don't
exactly
Mandela's,
bro.
He hasn't been. I will say this.
Yeah.
Mandela hasn't wasted a lot of time trying to endear himself to the black community.
No.
He has not. He has not pandered to the black community through our Chitlin Circuit media here. He has not busted his ass to come on this person's and that person's show, and try and get people to get to know him. And I kind of understand why he moves the way he does, because I am old enough to remember how he was treated when he ran against Lena Taylor, which still to this day you'd have thought he ran against Shirley Chisholm. I mean, Lena was cool with me. Lena's been on my show plenty of times, but I don't know why people were so upset because this brother wanted to run against her. It was maniacal at the time, the way people were treating him because he ran against her. I just, it just never made sense to me, but it just seems like a lot of hate that people have had for him because he didn't really come, and really come and kiss Black Milwaukee's ass. And that's just the way
you know what? It's funny you say that though, KB, because people generally get like that when you don't kiss their ass. They do get mad, especially in Milwaukee. And I done seen it like when a rapper come, oh, he ain't say whatever. Look at Boosie. Boosie don't make the best music, but they love this motherfucker because he always has love for Milwaukee. Now, if Mandela came out, Milwaukee this, Milwaukee that, Milwaukee this, you wouldn't have seen none of that. The fact that he was, quote unquote, thinking about the bigger picture, I'm not saying he should or he shouldn't have. Now, if me and you were doing it, we would do things probably a different way. If I was running for governor of Wisconsin, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fuck with Milwaukee. But I grew up in Milwaukee or whatever, but my mentality is different. I'll give you on the flip side. As soon as Tim Michaels, when he was running against Evers, as soon as he touched down and went to Milwaukee and said, I'm going to run in Milwaukee and I'm gonna see what's going on with the, the people there is mostly black. I want to hear what they think. Dude, they were done with him. I was part of that campaign. I seen it. They was done with him. I literally heard a dude say, why are you going wasting time in Milwaukee? It's going to hurt you. I looked this motherfucker in his face like, I'm like, y'all some racist motherfuckers. Y'all don't care about nothing about black people. You got a white candidate going down to Milwaukee and actually wants to know how black voters think, and y'all don't want no part of it. I was like, see, this is why he going to lose to fucking Evers again. And he lost to Evers. Like I said, dude, it's that same mentality, KB, where, like you said, they just hated on him basically for no reason, bro. They just hated on him because he black, he got to be perfect. But you don't support him, and then you get a white racist MAGA Republican. Come on, man. It don't even make no sense. Who you gonna vote for? Like, one thing I will ask, I know Dion will vote for, let's just say DC wins against Hong in the primary. I know he ain't gonna vote for Tiffany. So you know what I'm saying? I get that aspect of it, but some people won't vote, period. And that's the scary part of that shit, bro. That's the scary part.
Ace in the chat room says, I need DC to be on some Maynard Jackson type shit. It's time for somebody to give us a fighting chance. Well, Maynard Jackson I thought he was the mayor of Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a governor, and I do not expect DC to be on Maynard Jackson level in terms of what he gets done. I don't think Maynard Jackson was able to get the city of Atlanta an international airport and take it basically from a small city to an international city. So I don't think
it's good to take that shot though. It's good to take that shot. You should shoot for that if you him. Something like that.
Well,
but he ain't gonna do it though.
Courtney Francois, the Juice Lady's in the chat room. Juice
what
Lady,
up,
what to do? One of our outlaws at large, I should say. She said Mandela never has. She said he was on the truth, I think. Yeah, so it's one of those things. She said, have you ever looked up how many black governors there have been in history? I have not. I would guess that it hasn't been a whole lot of them. In terms of politicians, they're black men. There are still a lot of first-time black positions in this country because we have just been frozen out of things like politics. Like they haven't.
Sir.
It's hard to get a place that is majority white or a place where the majority of the voters are white. And in particular, at one point, we couldn't even vote. So it's hard to get black candidates over the top. And it still is because this country is still pretty much a racist, power base. So, we'll see.
Really, really, really quick to answer Courtney's question. What up, Juice Lady? Only 5 black governors have served in the United States in history. 5.
That's crazy.
That is fucking nuts. And Wes Moore is the most recent one. And I think Wes Moore could be president one day. I believe that.
She said, then look up how many women have been governor.
Hold on. Well, women or black women without. She said women, so I'll look up women. Let's take a quick look at women. It's more women, I'm sure, because no black woman has ever served though. That's what Jim and I just put out there. Women governors, period. Let's look. Governor, period. I'm not sure. Hold on, KB. Hey, read the next one. I'm gonna look at this really quick. I'm just typing.
I got it. Orlando says family. What up, Orlando? Courtney says, hey there. She says correct in terms of the governorships.
14 women. 14 women are currently serving as women governors. Excuse me, as women governors, marking the highest level of female gubernatorial representation in American history. And since 1925, when the first woman took office, only 53 women have served as state governors over the last century.
Wait, now hold on. Go back because this ain't making sense. Now, how many brothers did you say have been governors in the history of the country?
As far as black governors, only 5 black governors have served in the United States in history. The first one was PBS Pinchback of Louisiana, and he served for 34 days.
More black women governors than black men?
No, there has never been a black woman governor.
I could have swore you just said it was like.
No. I said when I did the search, I was like, oh, there's never been any black women governor. That's the first thing that came up with because they thought I was asking for that. But
Courtney's saying that there's one current female governor. Let me see.
Yeah.
Carrie Walker Jones in the chat room. How you doing, Carrie? She said maybe we need a Muslim light-skinned brother. They seem to be hitting in Michigan and New York. Yeah, we're a long way politically from Michigan and New York. And Michigan has a very large Muslim population, though. There's a lot of Muslims in Michigan. Ewok says you have to convince the white people in the other counties that they eat off of Milwaukee, and that's how you get them to understand when you make your move to improve the north side. She said no black women. This is Courtney saying no black women have ever been governor.
Never, not in history.
Mama Jenkins, how you doing, Mama Jenkins? She's in the chat room. She said, good evening, my outlaw family. It's voting time, so get your asses to the polls. and vote for your damn choice. That's what most people do, whether they like a candidate or not. These candidates don't have a plan or agenda that's going to benefit all people. Democratic Party should be ashamed for not getting behind one candidate to beat this racist ass Tiffany.
Yes.
Just go fucking vote and be counted. I got you, Mama Jenkins. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Courtney said, I'm just thinking they will pick a woman over a black man. That's all.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
He's echoing that sentiment that there have been 5 black governors starting in the late 1800s.
Yep.
She said one current black man is governor. And
Westmore.
then Courtney says, you know, you be slacking with the comments, Kev. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what I say. When in doubt, blame Kev, right? I mean, there's
Hey, KB, I just did a double search, and it's a record time 14 female governors. So I was right about that the first time. Right now, but it's 10 Democrats and 4 Republicans. None are black. Kay Ivey, Katie Hobbs, Sarah Huckabee, Kim Reynolds, yada yada yada, bada bing, bada boom. One black governor. He's a male, and I believe Westmore. I think he's the governor of Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, we don't have representation like that. So when we do have a possibility to have some representation, I think we need to stand behind them and quit being so damn critical.
I think it's funny that people in this state, even though there's a black man still in the running,
yes,
to vote for a Hmong woman who has admitted that she's psychologically ill and is very, very radical.
Impaired.
She's very, very radical. And you don't really know what this democratic socialism is going to be, but they're willing to vote for her over a brother. That's very strange to me. But once again, this is why I'm so big on delineation. I'm big on self-identifying. I'm big on black solidarity. And I think as a black man, we should be about, and this is just my perspective, as a black person, I should say, we should be about each other. We should be ready, willing, and able to support each other come hell or Hawaii. Okay? Should never be considering anything other than us. If we don't learn how to do for us, we are going nowhere fast in this country.
AK
will allow the media or talking heads or pundits or white people to tell us who our leaders should be. It's just very sad. It speaks to a sad situation in Black America's part. It shows you how divided we are as a people.
Hey, KB, one thing I wanted to say, and I hope, and everybody that's paying attention right now, watching, pay attention to what I'm about to say. These same Republicans that have to double down on Trump and the bullshit now because every statistical metric shows that he's doing a horrible job. So when you have dumbass people come on here talking about, oh, Trump is this, Mr. Trump is doing a good job, all this bullshit, remember, they didn't understand Project 2025. They didn't read all that shit. And I'm talking to the black ones first. They had no idea. But the reason that they're supporting him now is because they have to double down. My point is, these Democrats or people that say or identify as Democrats, I'm fine with you. I have no issues with you. A lot of my friends and family are Democrats. Love all of you. With that said, though, you have no idea what democratic socialism actually is. None of you know what it is. Me, I've posted it for you to know. You guys don't support that shit, Hong. She is what it is. So when public schools suck in your neighborhood, you know what she thinks? Send their asses to that failing school. You shouldn't be able to go to another school. These are her beliefs. So before you jump on that and say, well, you know what? DC is, he's a corporate Democrat or he's an established Democrat. Well, fuck, sometimes you need that. You don't need an extremist all the time. In politics, we're seeing by this racist, freaking pedophile-loving piece of dog shit enriching himself politician named Donald Trump, we see how that doesn't work. MAGA is an extremist group. They're extreme. And look at what's happening right now with our prices, with our taxes, with us being in wars that they said we would never get into and all this other stuff. Look at these Republicans. They look fucking stupid. They had no idea this clown was going to do the shit that he did. And when they say what they're saying, they're lying. They know that. That's how come when they talk about certain things, and I hate to do this, Kevin, because I know we got a caller. My man, my homie, David King. I love David. I saw the last thing that he put out there. What does it say? Oh, I'm the candidate that's going to support women being allowed to be no men in women's sports. With the economy and gas prices, we're talking about a topic that affects maybe 1 to 2% of all the athletes playing NCAA in high school. It might be 200 at the max athletes that identify from the opposite sex that are trying to be involved in sports. Why are we talking about this when you have so many other important things to talk about? That's what I'm saying, bro. It's wild, dude. It's so many different distractions. They don't want to focus on the real shit, which is put a moderate person in there. You know what I'm saying? Put somebody in there that can see things from multiple perspectives, opposed to an extremist. That's all I'm saying. You know,
let me go to the chat room. Call back. I don't know why your call dropped. I believe that was Earl. A says, is she saying black women won't vote for the brother over Hung? This is Ace. I don't know who he's questioning. I think he might be
Courtney, and I don't think that's what I don't think that's the case. Black women gonna support a brother over Hung.
Earl Henning says, fuck Donald Trump and his friends. Courtney said, I didn't say anything about black women or who they would vote
exactly.
for.
I didn't think she did either. Yeah.
Okay. Mama Jenkins said, question. Who has the dropout candidates endorsed? I haven't heard Mandela endorse anyone. A says, LL, I was waiting for that. And then Brendan says they voted for Trump. So what's the difference? Kerry Walker Jones says Hmong women are psycho.
I think
that's what she means.
Oh shit.
He says at the end of the day, this shit I know be easy. This shit I know be easy. She's going to be the pro-immigrant, and the other one is a MAGA dick APAC fuckboy. I'm going for DC.
Me too.
Okay. And he said, well said, Ian.
Oh, thank you.
Go down. Let me finish. What else is in the comments?
Mama Jenkins.
I think it says, I was in Florida last week, and those blacks, Cubans, Haitian, and whatever race they are, love the fuck out of Trump down there. It was sickening to see that.
My homie that live in Florida, black, love Trump. Love him. Still, I don't fuck. Well, I said he my homie. I take that back. We ain't talked since the election, but before I stop talking to him, KB, love him. He said, a bitch don't run my household, so why should I vote for one to run the country? That's the last day I ever talked to that Negro. Ridiculous.
Well, y'all can hit the line. The phone line is open, 262-202-5531. I don't know. I had somebody else on the line. They hung up. I think they were waiting to speak, and I was kind of finishing up the chat room because I know I get the blame when the comments are behind, like Courtney just so gently alluded to that I be lacking on the chat room. I do my best.
KB, motherfuckers be on your neck though. They be at your head about them comments and shit, bro. They want you to be in timeout.
It's all good. It's all good. I love the chat room though, so you know.
Me too.
But I think a lot of people are just not informed on the Democratic Social Party. They're up to 120,000 members as of 2026. And this is a fairly new thing. Socialism has always been around. But do some research on it before you quick to jump in and vote for them. I think what you said was important about you have to be very careful about jumping up for the most extreme option because we said things need to change. We need to shake everything up.
Wow. And
I think this is how we got into this whole Trump thing because a lot of people, myself included, felt like that the government needed a little shakeup. We feel like there needed to be some change. But I'm nonpartisan, so I wasn't necessarily thinking that the Republicans would be able to come in and fix all of the issues. I just felt like there needed to be a different way to approach some of the issues. And we see what trying to go too far left brings. You bring somebody like Trump in who basically has wanted to destroy the very fabric of our democracy.
Yes.
And wanted to basically take away laws and rights for people that have been decided a long time ago after years and years and years of those people being unaccounted for and underserved, such as black people and the voting rights and the civil rights. There was a reason why those those rules and that legislation was put into place. So to go back now in 2026 and
Mm-hmm.
think I'm gonna take it away, I don't understand how you would think you make America great by taking away the rights of people who have been mistreated and had the foot of this country on their neck forever. How do you make this country
Mm-hmm.
great again by taking rights from them? Well, when you say make America great again, what you're saying is let's make the white man be in charge again. Which to me, every time somebody says the good old days, I laugh until I almost puke because I don't think those were the greatest days of America. You know, economically,
Hell
we
no.
might have been doing very well economically, but that's because in terms of the state of our industry, we were ahead of a lot of other places and have since closed the gap. And technology has created leaps and bounds for them to catch up to where we were. And that old good old American ingenuity that we used to pride ourselves on just ain't necessarily there anymore. And you know, our economy is not the what it used to be. But once again, I don't think this country's great just because white people are in charge. And if you feel that way, then you are a white nationalist or a white supremacist. I'll let you decide. It's up to you. But that's
Yeah.
just pretty much how I look at, like, you know, going with someone that's extreme, because you might be extreme on one end and extremely conservative on the other. Because we'll be so happy for her to come in and say, yeah, we shook things up. She's gonna shake things up, and then she comes in and takes those vouchers from you and takes your ability to choose where your kids go to school at. You're gonna start feeling the squeeze. You know, but like I said, maybe the flip side of that will be, hey, let's direct more resources back towards MPS in Milwaukee, and let's do something about this 50% truancy rate. So whatever we put into the schools, the kids can be there to enjoy it. So you know, it's one of those things, man. But y'all let me know what y'all thinking, man. It's Monday. It's Outlaw Radio Live. There's no particular topic that we got to stick to. The number is 262-202-5131. I'm Kevin Barnes. I got the fact checker ENC Jordan here with me. And this ain't got nothing to do with politics, but this is something that's been kind of just low key boiling on my radar. Is the trial of one Keefe D is about to start. If you don't
Why
know,
the fuck was I just reading that?
Keefe D is the individual who is I guess
Responsible Tupac.
He's been charged with the murder of Tupac. And so after all these years, 30 some years, we are seeing Dwayne Keefe D. Davis his trial is about to start. Now, here's the crazy part. Well, what happened to Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas way back in 1996?
Fucked up.
For years and years, it was all speculation. You had a bunch of people running their mouths, people who were supposedly in the know, people who were there, people who were, you know, around Tupac, part of the entourage. Nobody really knew what happened until this individual, Keefe D, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, because he's been locked up for 3 years, but maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
It's been a minute, bro.
He's decided to come out and he's decided to write a book, first of all, called Compton Street Legend. And in his book, he detailed what led up or what they did to enact the murder of Tupac Shakur, right? And I guess enough people didn't read that, because I didn't know about this book. I didn't know who he was, had never heard of him until he went on Vlad TV. Okay.
Yes.
If you are in the podverse like myself, you know what Vlad TV is. And he basically went on there and admitted how they planned it, how they did it, who pulled the trigger. He blamed his nephew, Orlando Anderson, who was murdered a year later.
Yeah, baby Lane.
Everybody in the car except for him has passed on. But he was with 3 other guys. And supposedly, this was common knowledge in California, in Compton, California. But the point of this is loose lips sink ships. Had he not ever, and I don't know if he needed money, I don't know if he wanted the glory.
Hey, he got 150 grand for that book, though.
It's not enough to do the rest of your life in the penitentiary.
In the pen?
And so, I think this set off a wave. Keefe D set off a wave of supposed street dudes, whether they're gang members, dope dealers, mafioso, whoever, coming to YouTube, coming to the internet and just talking. And I don't know how many individuals. I know that I forget Arab, who was also a young
Yes.
guy from Philadelphia who
He
was
one of my favorite rappers, but that nigga just talked way too much, bro. He fucked
a
up.
rapper, and he came on Vlad after Keefe D, and he detailed his whole operation. Not long thereafter, indicted, convicted. He's got about 35 years. So this set off a trend of street dudes coming on online talking about what they did. And so you get the rise of whack 100s and all these kinds of guys after that come, and then it became about who's a snitch and I'm pulling your paperwork from prison and all this kind of stuff. But I think Keefe D started this. Now I will say this: justice is justice, and if it is proven in a court of law that he is responsible for murder of Tupac, he should be convicted and he should spend the rest of his life in jail. Okay,
it's funny that you said that though, bro, because motherfuckers that were witnesses that seen it, like, I mean, because a lot of Pac's cousins, because Pac, Dramacido, I think is Pac's actual cousin, and it's one other one, and they said they saw a beefy arm out the Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, he blamed Orlando Anderson, for everybody that understands or that has been following it, aka Baby Lane, the gang culture. He was a Crip. So the fact that he got beat up like that was a big disrespect. So that's why they went after him like that or whatever. And it's funny though, if you pay attention to it, some of the interviews too, that they said the only reason they knew where Pac was because they were driving on one side of the street and it was a car full of women and Pac was hanging out of it, trying to get their attention, trying to tell them to do something. And then he said that's when they made the U-turn. He said they were about to go back to LA because they couldn't find where Suge and them were. That's how wild it is. It just shows you like how a split second can change your whole life. But long story short, Keefe was saying that he didn't. What did he say? He said, "Oh, the shots came out the back seat. The shots came out the back seat." Remember when he kept saying that? And it was kind of like, dude, like I'm like, bro, I'm thinking in my mind like Dre was dead, the other dude was dead, Baby Lane is dead. So you saying that they did it? If I'm in law enforcement, nigga, I'm thinking you lying anyway. And now that they're going to charge him for it, I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless he has top-notch legal representation, he's going to prison. He's not beating any of this. He's going to die in prison. Because what is he, KB? Ain't he already like 60?
He's in his late 50s, early.
Yeah, bro. He's a rap dude. He's not beating any of this. And I'm glad because the nigga was bragging online. He was on Vlad TV like, if he wouldn't have said anything to my nephew, he'd still be alive. Dude, I heard that come out of his mouth. I'm like, bro, there's no statute of limitations on murder. I'm like, dude, crazy as hell for saying it. And then, thank my Lord and Savior that the Las Vegas PD went ahead and they got his ass. I'm happy.
Aaron Brown in the chat room, he said Keefe D looked like he loved hot links.
Here we go. Don't read. No, here we go. He just started.
One of these, man.
A po' boy. Hey, Aaron, he looked like he eat the po' boys, don't he?
Jenkins said, listening and waiting for the results. We all know DC is going to win Milwaukee, but these rural areas is not in his favor. I'm hoping he can pull in at least 20 or 30 counties.
Yeah, she right.
Yeah.
Right.
Win
Me
in
too, Mama Jenkins.
A said we're going to talk about Officer Racem Tatum.
Yeah, he talking about Officer Tatum
going on Jubilee and getting cooked. He said, "Are we going to talk about it getting cooked in regards to Nolan Wells and the history of Black Wall Street?"
Maybe next week.
I didn't watch it, Ace, so you have to give me some time to go and watch it. Once again, y'all got to understand when it comes to people like Officer Tatum and other people who seem to just be talking to hear the sound of their own voice, and they really have no real good intentions for Black people. I don't listen to them. I scroll past whatever they're on. I skip. So I'm not up on his latest appearance. So I guess the answer would be not unless you want to call in and elaborate on it. Because
I was gonna say I heard about it, bro. I heard it was bad. I heard he was getting fricasseed. Some what's that Benihana shit? What do they call it? You know when they cook the food in front of you, whatever the hibachi. Yes, I heard he was getting hibachied on Jubilee shit, dude. It just goes to show you that these motherfuckers are grifters. I said this before, dude. I got into it with my guy. You know Christopher Lawrence. Remember, like dude, I told you my guy who's a Republican. He's like Orlando, and I broke it down. I'm like, bro, like we had a conversation. He said something because I posted how I do a lot of business posts too, where I was talking about how Raging Cane's, they're opening up like 12 stores in an economy right now where, you know, people are closing down and, you know, shit like that. So I was just giving the CEO props to him having vision. He was like, oh, that's the smartest thing you posted in a while. I'm like, damn, for the dude that hates Orlando, y'all on the same page because you motherfuckers love Trump. In addition to you loving Trump, you say you're a Christian, but this dude is a alleged pedophile. He's in the Epstein files and all this other stuff. I'm like, bro, don't try to come for me when I'm saying things that are factual. In addition to me saying things that are factual, it's not coming from a political standpoint. You can't call me a Republican. You can't call me a Democrat because I like certain candidates. So the fact that you guys have to double down when you attach yourselves, Malcolm X said it best. Do not attach yourself to these parties because what these parties represent is what you represent. So if they represent white supremacy and you're a black person and you support them, you just look like a fucking idiot. And that's what these niggas that, excuse me, because I'm trying not to say certain things as much, but these African Americans, black people, and people that lie and say they're FBA, that say they support a political party, you out your damn mind. I don't understand it. I really don't. I can't see how you can be a person of color and support a Republican Party. The Democrats are not in control. In my opinion, no disrespect, they're irrelevant right now until they get some control. And once they have the House or the Senate or whatever, you know, and things kind of revert back to how it was, you know, 10, 15 years ago, then me and you will shit on them too. But the point is, right now, it's the Republicans. And they are aligned with white supremacy, pedophilia. You got Max Moreno that beat up his fucking ex-wife and broke his 2-year-old's collarbone. Y'all support all of this shit because you have some Republicans saying he should get out of office. But my point is, you got all the deprived and depraved freaking pedophiles and other shit in this party, and they be like, well, it's fake news. If Biden knew all this, how come Biden didn't do an investigation? Well, when you have an active investigation that's criminal in Biden's defense, you can't freaking give names of people because it's an active investigation. You know, that's what I'm saying. These people like to just say stuff. Dude, it's gonna be interesting. And tomorrow, I hope DC wins because I think he'll beat Tiffany. I don't think that she will.
So here's the thing. Like, I pay attention to politics, but I don't obsess over it.
Yeah.
And there's so much more, so many more things that I could watch and pay attention to. So I'm not the end all, know all, be all, know all when it comes to politicians and who said what and what they stand for. I make up my mind about something one time and then I move on. I don't keep going back to it. I don't need to reassure myself. So a lot of times the continuous, repetitive, redundant talk about these politics just annoy me. Like, they make me not want to do a show sometimes. Like, because I don't want, at certain points, I'm like, I don't even want to talk about politics today because I don't obsess over it. Because I feel like as a black man, I'm going to have to find my way through this storm either way it goes. So in a lot of cases, there's never been an elected official who's been on our side outside of Adam Clayton Powell. So it's always been an uphill struggle for us. So that's why I'm nonpartisan, Republican or Democratic. I just don't believe in either one of them will be what we need as a people. I think what we need as a people is us. And I'm going to keep saying that until it gets old. The only way we are going to advance in this country as a people, and I'm talking about foundational black people, is for us to do us, for us to talk, communicate, eat with, spend money with, vote with, live with, sleep with. It all has to be about us. And until we're ready to do that, then all bets are off. I wouldn't give a damn about any political party because, like I said, I don't believe any of them, even with the candidates we talk about now. But even, and this goes to say, even the black ones, none of them ever spoke to a black agenda. So that lets you know what you're going to do for Madison that's really going to move the needle forward for us here in Milwaukee, in the city of Milwaukee. We need to be putting this same energy and vigor on our mayor's ass, pause, okay? We need to be putting it on him to let him know it's time for something to come back to us for being tax-paying citizens, for us being the builders of everything. So that's why I get tired of politics. Let me go to my chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Ewok says, "What about the $1 million hit Puffy supposedly put out?
Yeah.
And what about Orlando snatching a death row chain, being the reason Tupac stepped to him? It's still some unsolved shit going on."
Well,
Yeah,
no.
Puffy is going to be implicated in this, I'm pretty sure, because Keefe D has already implicated him in saying that Puffy had $1 million out for a death row chain, and that he paid Zip. I think his name is Eric Von Zip. And these
Yes.
names I've just remember from listening to this whole thing over the years, that he gave $1 million for the shooting of Tupac, right? And that Puffy supposedly called the next day and said, "Was that us?" Meaning, because the rumor is Puffy at the time was paying the Southside Crips from Compton for security when he was in California, who are direct rivals of the Bloods, the Mob Pyrus in Compton. So you're right, Ewok. It's going to be a lot of information that
hold on though. The reason, and I heard this from multiple law enforcement people that actually got on Vlad afterwards, the reason they can't use any of that you just said and what Ewok was alluding to, if Eric would have took the money and actually delivered it, yes, 100% murder for hire. Eric Von Zip and his, I don't want to say infinite wisdom because I love Tupac, but I can go into the 6 months before that when Tupac and Suge Knight were at a party. They beat up this dude that knew where, that was down with Bad Boy, made him drink a whole bunch of pee in shot glasses or whatever to give them Puffy's mother's address. And Pac was there and he thought it was funny. If I was fucking Puffy, I would have had Pac killed too. 1. 2, the reason they can't do anything is because Eric Von Zip didn't fucking give the money to Keefe D. He basically stole the money from Puff and invested it in a club.
That's what they say.
That's the only reason that Negro is not in prison for murder for hire, where he'll never get out.
He's also deceased as well. He passed some years ago from cancer.
Yeah, he did. They're not going to jail for that.
So, but the thing is, and this is where the whole set of events with Tupac and Death Row and the way this all ended should be something. It's a teachable moment for us as black men. This is what happens when we get lost. And I think as much as I love Tupac's music, he's a shining example of what happens when you lose yourself in money and the illusion of power in the streets. This is what happens, because the truth of the fact of the matter is Tupac should not have put his hands on Orlando Anderson.
Nope.
Who was known for being a killer, a well-known gangbanger. And what it seems like over the years later now, is hindsight is 2020, as they say. But it looks like Tupac was unable to continue on the path, because at one point Tupac was all about black empowerment. He was the son of a Black Panther. Yep. He made a lot of great music. But once again, I think he lost himself to the streets and he got involved with something that he didn't necessarily understand, which was West Coast gang banging culture. And I think that Tupac mistakenly thought that Suge Knight would be able to protect him and that he was with, the winning team, when in actuality, he was very, very, very vulnerable and out in the open. So, and it's a shame that it happened that way, but just being the age I am, remembering what it was like during those times, this was all this stuff was building up to a point, right? Like the streets at that time and the way we as black men were kind of living in terms of drugs and gangs and all this kind of stuff was very, very counterproductive. And,
yes,
in the 90s, a lot of, there was still a crack epidemic, drugs and gang banging were really, really prominent in our communities. And there needed to be a message. There needed to be a message to us, as my mama used to say, sit your ass down somewhere. And unfortunately, it was the death of Tupac Shakur. So this trial is going to be very interesting. And they've already said they're going to use his Vlad testimony.
Yes.
I mean, his Vlad interview as testimony. But I think a lot of people need to know this too. Keefe D admitted this to law enforcement years before anybody even knew it through what they call a proffer agreement because he was a huge drug dealer. So he had actually admitted this to the police and told that he wouldn't be charged for it. But he didn't totally understand his proffer agreement. So when he went on Vlad and started running his mouth, he violated his own agreement. Dude, this is how he was charged.
Dude, when you don't understand the streets, bro, and this the shit, and it's funny because motherfuckers got mad at MC8 for saying this, like Pac fans, like obsessed Pac fanatics and shit. And I was online just battling motherfuckers going back and forth. I'm like, dude, Pac was not a street dude. What don't you motherfuckers understand? He fucking was 24, 25, trying to gangbang at that age. He didn't understand the gang culture in fucking LA. Because KB, me or you, I'll use Milwaukee as an example. We beat the shit out of somebody at Potawatomi, and we already in the hotel rooms. We not going back outside to the next day, bro. Because if we beat up, like, I don't know, if Gangster Disciple, Vice Lord, whatever gang you want to pick, we beat up the rival side, right? We stomp him out. He's a high-ranking dude. He a general, or he a high-ranking dude from Chicago. We not going outside until later. You know what I'm saying? We're not finna be riding around flaunting. We're not finna go to the Empire Room and shit because we gonna think that cats is coming to get us anyway. That's how come I was like, when Pac got killed, I wasn't surprised. Much as I love his music and shit, I wasn't shocked. I'm like, man, when I found out
that's sort of saying who and who's not a street guy, because obviously he had been affiliated with a lot of street stuff.
Yeah, he didn't understand that culture.
I don't think he himself was trying to be a gangbanger.
No, he wasn't. That's my point.
I think he was affiliated because at the time with what was going on at Death Row Records,
for sure,
it was a heavy street gang involvement. I think what he did was he was trying to show that he was loyal to the team. Okay, and from what I hear from people who know him, when I watch interviews, and I didn't know him, they talk about how loyal he was, and sometimes true loyalty it can be a flaw. So, and I'm not gonna necessarily say he didn't understand it, but I don't think he comprehended the degree that he was involved in. I don't think he knew that this is a dude that if you do something to, it has to be mandatory retaliation. Yeah. I don't think he understood that part of it.
That's what I mean by that. He wasn't a street dude.
Guy who didn't understand the streets and who didn't know this or that because he was living on the West Coast for a very long time and he obviously understood Crips and Bloods. But I just think he thought his team was impenetrable. And I figured like he thought that, they won't let anything happen to me. And by me doing this is going to further cement my status as one of the bosses in his group. But it didn't because the other side is on scholarship too. So, I just think a lot of people, hey, he ain't a street dude. Because what is a street dude, right? Like, I mean, we know there's a lot of dudes who've been in neighborhoods that have been just crazy. And they jumped off the porch and they got involved. They wasn't necessarily street dudes, meaning they didn't live their whole lives in the gutter, in the streets. They weren't born to crackheads. They weren't complete savages. They were just dealing with what was going on around them. So I'm going to keep up with this trial, and I think it's it's very interesting to see. But these are the times that we were living in back then. I happen to be a grown man even then. So, but those were the times that we were living in which there's a lot of situations around the country where brothers were losing their lives over petty missions just to gain a little respect. Let me go to the chat room. Carrie Walker Jones is in the chat room. She says, Officer Coon Tatum probably got a few underage girls under his bed too. That seems to be a prerequisite for MAGA men.
Yes, exactly.
Orlando Owens said that's silly, Carrie Walker Jones.
Whatever.
Orlando's like, I'm a MAGA man. I don't.
No, he don't. But
Brandon Hayes, you're right. That's another case of wasted talent and potential. Yella Beezy now being charged with the murder of Mo 3. It's another stupid
ass crime
case where one of the most talented young brothers you've heard in a while musically was murdered.
No, so, I wanted to add to what you were saying. When I said he wasn't a street dude, what I meant was not that he wasn't affiliated. That's not what I mean. When I say he wasn't a street dude, he didn't know who to put hands on and who not to put hands on. Like, for instance, when I was living on Meineke, I knew the other niggas from other hoods. I knew who was a vice lord. I knew who his cousins were. I knew who his sister was. You know what I'm saying? I knew who his mama was. I'm like, oh, we're not going, if we get into it, don't get into it with him. They got too many soldiers. Or if you get into it with a certain dude, this is going to be the repercussions. That's all I'm saying. Pac didn't understand that. And he didn't understand, like me, and my first mind would have been, what is this nigga doing there? Because remember, what's his name whispered in his ear and said, oh, that's the nigga that took, I think, Trayvon's chain. Or he was like, he took Trayvon's chain. And Pac was like, let's go. But it goes back to what you were saying too. The nigga Pac was, for real, he was loyal to a fault. He didn't understand how deep that could get, meaning he went out the house. Like they didn't have their vest that night. Them niggas wasn't strapped.
He did understand, but he still didn't care. You got to. I think people don't give.
No, I agree with that aspect too. That they felt they had the super team. You're right about that. They felt they had the super team, bro, and he didn't get it. He didn't see it.
This is Ace Cooley. He says, "Let me get you Ace in here." I don't know why.
Ace and Jack.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I don't know why it won't let me pull it up. Pull up his comment. Come on now.
You want me to read it because I can see it.
It was just giving me some trouble. Ace says he should have learned after the whole Haitian Jack and the Jimmy Henchman shit. It's like the brother got caught up in the whole Bishop role in Juice. Pac's life was very complicated. He was being groomed to lead the cause under Matula Shakur.
Damn, that's deep.
I agree with you, but I don't think it was the character in Juice. Like I think so. This is very funny. Money B, who was a member of Digital Underground along with Tupac.
Yeah,
they were interviewing him and they asked him, they said, you know, did you think Tupac became more extreme after he did the movie Juice and played Bishop in the movie Juice? And his answer was very interesting. He said, if people say that, it only goes to show that they didn't know him, because he actually was a lot calmer after the movie. he said he was wild. He was wild when I met him. It said we had to calm him down. That was the whole purpose of him getting into the industry with Digital Underground in the first place. Is his manager, Antron Gregory, wanted to keep him out of trouble. So they felt like getting him on the road, getting him on tour with a group and getting signed to a label was going to calm him down. So he said he was always just a loose cannon in terms of being very impulsive. And he said, if you say that he was trying to be Bishop, it just goes to show you that they didn't know him, because he was wilder before the movie. And there's stories of Tupac on the set of Juice being wild. On the set of all his movies, just being a wild dude. I mean, let's be honest. At that young age in the 90s, we were all pretty wild. I mean, I know I was a lot more loose back in those days than I ever could be now. I can't even get into
it. I was bad.
I can't even get in touch with that dude now. I don't even know how to reach him. You'd have to really cross me on a real personal level for me to even bring him back outside. And I'm not saying I was a killer or that I was, Tupac. I'm just saying I was very, very, very much more willing to get involved in shit back then than I am now. Back then I really felt like I didn't have a whole lot to lose. And I pretty much thought that I knew what was what, especially in terms of being and navigating the streets in the neighborhood. So very, very destructive, self-destructive mentality, and very counterproductive. And it wasn't until I calmed down that I was able to start moving forward and elevating myself. So I would encourage any young brothers, any young men right now that's teetering on that line to just exercise some caution, slow your roll, pump your brakes, man, and use the past as a learning, as a history lesson. Go back and look at what happened to a lot of these brothers who lived fast. They died young and left a very pretty corpse.
And it's funny you say that, because like cats be like romanticizing like street shit. Ain't nothing romanticized about that. Like it wasn't cool. Like my sister used to be in the street or whatever, right? And when I was fucking 13 years old or 14 years old, when I went to Pitt's funeral home and I seen her in there dead in a black dress, that shit fucked with me for years. So romanticizing all of that fucking street shit and then seeing all the homies that died. And I think it was Ace or somebody that grew up on Meineke too, because I know Carrie, she did too. But we all remember Xavier. We all remember Doom. We all remember all these cats we grew up with. My homeboy Tony, my homeboy Will that lived next door to me at 2440. All these cats that got killed because they just like you saying, KB, like it would have been so much better if you would have just went to school, or it would have been so much better if you would have just did anything else. It would have been so much better, and you could have had your life if you wouldn't have got murked out here. But the thing is, though, it happens. So young people that pay attention to what's going on, there's nothing romantic about the street game. There is nothing romantic about being like my cousin Jerry Walker going to jail forever and getting the Kingpin Act. There's nothing cool about none of that. So don't sit here and act like all this shit is cool when it's not, bro. I'm with you on that, dog. Like, I pray that these young brothers and sisters really, and I understand, like, if you got a mom that's a crackhead, or you got a dad that's not in your life and you can't pay your bills, and you be like, man, I could try to get this job, or I can't get this job. They paying me $200 a week while I'm in high school, or I can get $200 a night. You know what I'm saying? Just flipping some work, or I guess now they got pills. When me and you was younger, they used to say, somebody would usually front you an 8-ball or a half an ounce, depending upon whatever. But my point is, dude, it's better to go to school. It's better to suffer early and to live your life better later, opposed to being involved in that shit and ending up in the penitentiary or getting killed, and then your mom and your family gotta fucking live through that. That's sad, man. You know what I'm saying?
262-202-5131, Outlaw Radio live on a Monday evening. Got about a 30, 45 minutes left in the show. You can jump on the line with us right now if you got something to add to the conversation. The chat room is also popping. Like I said, Mondays and Wednesdays, y'all, this is what we do, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, just to move on from that, because I hate when things get redundant. What the hell is going on in Mississippi now? Now we knew we're still waiting on the fallout, the facts. I shouldn't say fallout, the facts behind Nolan Wells. But over the weekend, a young lady was found hanging from a tree by the name of Asia Fortune in Mississippi. And I know that across the country there's a bunch of different situations where Black people are coming up murdered. But what I know, Mississippi historically, you have to understand what Mississippi has been for Black people historically. All right. My family is from Mississippi. Got a lot of families still in Mississippi.
Me too.
It's been one of the worst places for Black people historically in the history of this country. Now I got a couple callers on the line. Let me get this all right. Let me get this all together. Come on. Okay, first I know I got Ace. I thought I had Ace. I got another. Is this Earl?
Yeah, this is me, man.
What's going on, Earl? How you doing?
What's going on, my brothers? Fuck Donald Trump and his thieving ass.
Okay.
The man is a thief. And they know he a thief.
Okay.
So yeah, man, the purpose of this shit is so crazy. Like, the white man could do anything he wanted to do. And the other white man will sit back and let it happen. If the man that if you have one felony, McDonald's ain't gonna hire you, because they ain't gonna trust you around the Big Macs. If you go anywhere in the United States and try to get a job with a felony, you're gonna get shunned. You'll be back out here on the streets. So you'll end up being locked up again unless you get educated. If you get educated with a felony, you might escape. But if you don't get yourself educated with a felony, you're not gonna survive out here. It'll be too hard for you to survive.
Okay.
So yeah, like y'all say, I grew up with Jerry Walker now. I used to go to Ebony Q. I used to ride the 27th Street bus because I went to Pulaski. And I used to see them when they grab the starter jackets from the mall and take over. That wasn't part of what I wanted to do. Plus, my mama said, ain't no game bigger than her game. And my mama had 11 kids. So if you was going to fight anybody, I had to start. I had to start with Larry and work my way down. So that wasn't worth it.
Okay.
So for all you young brothers out here, man, get educated. Educate yourself where you can change your family's life, because you can do better with education.
Very true.
And that's all I got to say.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you before you get out of here. How was, you said yesterday was the last Black Sunday? How did it go?
But my sister and I went. I didn't go. Like I said, I was disappointed. And Larry started this, and the people that's running it now, his friend that Randy Henning that passed away, he would give my brother. Well, he gave me 60 tickets to get to the family. When she gave me 24 tickets, I thought that was it. I thought that was a slap in the face. So yeah, I brought it up. But I got to talking to my niece and them yesterday. She said, "Well, I can write up a cease letter and send it to them. But what's that gonna do? We need to find out what he had in writing with those people." I said, "But for him to have something, and we don't even get tickets, we don't benefit from it at all. They don't send nothing to his wife, his grandkids. It's kind of scary. You know, his great grandkids. They're not pushing nothing out for them, but they still using his likeness because his face was on the tickets, and when you mention it, everybody mentioned him. But it has new owners out there. And I was going to write a little letter and try to send it out there and say, man, at least I can see him. Because that's when we celebrate him. Because we don't celebrate him in May on his birthday. We wait till his outing at Great Lakes to celebrate his lifestyle, his life. Because that's what he did. He fixed cars and he raced them. Well, I could say he fixed them. He built them. He built them from the ground up. Well, now I can tell him, I tell everybody this.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all really don't know my brother. Y'all know of him, but y'all really don't know him. And they because some of them, they didn't know that he was in the service, that he fought in the war for this country.
Right.
So, like I try to tell everybody, y'all didn't know he was crazy for real.
I know.
Yeah.
You were talking about that last week, Kev. I do remember that. And I just to interject really quick, I wanted to bring up something because we were speaking about this. Mississippi, within the last calendar year, you had Tasia Fortune, who was killed in August 2026. She was killed behind an abandoned home on the 500 block of Road of Remembrance in West Jackson. You had Demetrion Trey Reed, September 2025. I do apologize if I said his name wrong. And you had Corey Zucadis, who was killed in Mississippi as well. And the cities that they were killed in, I believe it was West Jackson, Cleveland, Mississippi, and Vicksburg, Mississippi, for everybody that's trying to kind of pay attention to what's been going on lately. And if you want to check News Undone and the People's News Network, I did an article about this that I actually posted about 30 minutes before the show started tonight. I said, is Mississippi going to go back to their historical resurgence of racism? So it's actually a really good read. Yeah. I think because of Trump and everything that's going on. And after I wrote the article, I asked a few questions. Do you think that Trump's alignment with white supremacist groups, do you think there's a reason why all this stuff is happening, and why do these supremacists feel emboldened? And I think it has a lot to do with the current administration. So take a read. It's in the People's News Network, and it's also on News Undone TV.
Okay.
Well, Ian, can I say this before I hang up?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. It's black folks in Mississippi that still backs Donald Trump.
I know.
That's scary. That is
I know.
real scary.
I know, but you got to remember too, though, E. You got some motherfuckers that are just uninformed. You have some people that are ignorant, and by ignorant, it's not an insult. I just mean lack of knowledge, and they're just believing some of the things that they see cosmetically. They're not looking deeper to see how bad his policies are for people of color specifically.
Hold on.
Hold on. Soon as you make some more, boss.
I got a couple callers on the line. First, I know I got Ace. Ace, what's going on?
What's up, man? Hey, what's cracking with you?
Ain't no
what up, Ace?
Hey, what's cracking, man? Long time no see, Ian.
Hey, what up, homie?
Okay, Ace, what's on your mind? Because I cut Earl off. I want to make sure Earl can finish his thought. So what's on your mind?
Hey, man, just listening to this, man. And you know, Mississippi, you know the bad thing about this, man, and
it's fucked up.
And I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks like this, but Mississippi, we got the numbers, brother. We got the numbers. Why do we accept this shit? You know?
It's conditioning.
I'm like, dude, we got all these. What's that?
It's conditioning, Ace. And I got a lot of family, like KB got a lot of family in Mississippi as well as I do. And I've talked to some of my cousins or whatever. I have 3 cousins down there that actually went into law because of the shit we learned when we was younger. They're all attorneys now. And the thing is, they've been, not they, my cousins or whatever, but you have some people that are conditioned to believe that they expect this shit to happen, bro. They expect niggas to get hung from trees eventually. And when they had that gap where that wasn't happening that much, it really was throwing them off. I had multiple cousins tell me that. They were like, it's crazy, you know, that we haven't had anything in a while. And now that you have this administration, it seems like they embody racism. This is what I don't understand with, you know, people that look like us that support it. It kind of just throws me off a little bit because if anything, I would just be independent. But the fact to be a proud card-carrying Republican right now, yikes.
Hold on. Earl, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
I want to make sure you got to finish your thought before we kept going.
I mean, it's scary because the fact that we know this, we know America has been selling us from day one since we've been here.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna stop. Why the Ku Klux Klan has never been stated as a terrorist group? You know why? Because it's them. It's America. And we know it's America. That's what America do. America is not going to do anything for black folks but take away the stuff somebody else offered them. Because I ain't going to say they gave it to them. They offered it to them.
Okay.
You know, the greatest thing America ever did was get the PPP loan for people that was doing it correctly. If you did it incorrectly, that was coming for you. Yeah, they're coming for you. Not if you had a legit business, it wasn't.
Yeah, I get that, but they knew what was going to happen.
Oh, of course, because they made it easy. They made it easy.
Yeah. Anytime free money come out there, that's a trap.
Yeah.
They want to see who they can get because they're once again, they're catering to the industrial prison complex.
Now, look, we got.
You know, for me,
we got another caller on the line. Orlando, are you here with us?
I am. So shout out to all the sellout Democrat Biden supporters. So I'm here. Yes, sir.
Okay, I wanted to give you a chance to express yourself because y'all know how this go. Pretty soon my line will just kick everybody off. So I wanted everybody to be able to get a chance to speak. So what's on your mind, man?
So no doubt, you know, I hear the sellouts always want to talk about how black people would support Republicans, and they fail to realize how much they was all on Republican, you know, jockstrap trying to get in. But, you know, that's neither here nor there because they still look like it, and they will always be bottom rail. But let's get to the election tomorrow. I think you got some good points that I don't believe that David has overcome the gap. But we'll see tomorrow on will black people come together to coalesce after David gets beat. I'm in the 50-50 realm. He may have squeaked this one out. I'm not for certain, but he may have, you know, surged from behind, but she got a big lead. I look at the idea of where, you know, this city is, and that's pure Democratic leadership. And I get it, kid. You're not you don't wave a flag, but I don't hear the same vitriol for some that share your space. They got all the smoke for one, but they don't have very little for the other. But at the same time, I get it when they bottom rail and they a 2-bit whatever they mad they mad butthurt or whatever. But moving forward, I would say if David can pull this off, David will be someone. Well, I would say the DSA will not support him at all.
Will I vote for Orlando?
Don't even ask him that. He's not going to. He's going to vote for Tiffany. He's voting for Tiffany.
Bottom rail.
Hey man, I'm not disrespecting you or whatever. You would never say none of this shit to my face. So stop calling here acting tough.
You interrupting.
Ace just made a comment, bro, and I was responding to it. Orlando, you would never say none of this shit to my face. So quit playing tough. You're not a tough guy, bro. You nigga, you keep talking, but you're not a tough guy. Kevin don't even want to show like that, bro. I'm just trying to be respectful of you, even though I don't like you. Dude, you would never say any of this to my face. So I'm just responding to Ace. I wasn't trying to cut you off. If you felt I was being disrespectful and cutting you off, I do apologize. I was just responding to Ace. I just said that Orlando's not going to vote for, he's voting for Tiffany because you are. I'm not shitting on you for it. I just got my opinion. That's all.
Control yourself. Control
what, bro? I'm not even mad at you. I know how you are, dog.
It's not even a conversation with you to fall back. Man, this dude is just weird. He's weird. So, will I vote for David Crowley? David's one step away from his hung positions on a lot of different positions on issues. I think that David and a lot of the, Chevy, I look at them pretty much the same. They've had leadership in the city and the county. And you look at the results of our city. Someone said about Mississippi. Believe it or not, man, Mississippi has made some resurgence in their educational structure. Kev, you might be able to speak to that. But I also saw Tony Evers post something that Wisconsin is fifth in education. Kev, you may have to break kind of these numbers down or how they are coming up with these numbers and what's being brought in. My end point is
are bullshit, Orlando. That don't mean shit if we ain't making no improvements.
I'm just looking at what's being put out there that Mississippi has made some really leaps and bounds in education. We can talk about like the racial tensions or the, you get reports from Mississippi, they're doing better educationally. And the question is, how do they do it? And I guess, if you in the bottom rail, because, bottom, it's pretty easy to come up from the bottom, just act on the host. But I guess the question would be they made some leaps and bounds coming out of the bottom, and they're I guess
so Orlando
second tier or whatever.
So Orlando, statistically speaking, if you just take a look at the state of Mississippi, economically in terms of employment and stuff like that, and the status and quality of life, they've been at the bottom for a very long time. And as far as education goes, they were at the bottom for a very long time. However, that is not what the gist of this conversation is about.
Exactly.
Oh, no. I was just asking when I heard Mississippi being brought up, I was like, well, there is some good things happening in Mississippi, it sounds like. Not saying that the lynchings or the disappearances.
I don't want to gloss over what the subject was. And
Thank you,
what
KB.
I'm talking about was the murders of young black people in this state that have happened. So I'm not going to say, let's look at the good. We know black people been getting murdered down there, but let's talk about something good. That would be
exactly, bro.
Very, very short-sighted.
All I'm saying is let's look at the whole picture of what's going on in Mississippi. If we're going to, kind of focus on Mississippi, what's really going on in Mississippi between the murders? Because we can look at murders here. We don't have lynchings. We definitely have executions right here.
We did have lynchings here. We got
whoa. The whole picture is 3 black people that got hung from trees in the last year.
You see what I said? We don't have lynchings, but we definitely have executions right here.
Well, I think the one thing you got to understand is we always talk about the murders here, and I'm going to still talk about the violence in Milwaukee here. But when we start to talk about lynchings and young black men ending up dead after going out for a weekend of celebrations with white kids, it deserves some discussion. It deserves to be discussed. So we can't, just because we got murders here don't mean we can't talk about injustice somewhere else.
And why are we trying to shift when we talk about white supremacy and people hanging from trees. Why are we trying to shift it to something else? Why can't we have the conversation about that? Well, that's weird as fuck to me, man.
In order to what he said was, if the focus was going to be on Mississippi, he wanted a total picture. But I don't necessarily know that. I wasn't prepared to talk about every statistical category of the state of Mississippi. If there's anybody out there who is an expert on the state, please don't hesitate to chime in.
No, there's some good shit happening in Mississippi, I'm sure, but we're not talking about that right now.
My point was
we can talk about the murders right here.
Well, my point was the closeness of the proximities in terms of timing of when. So we're still going through it with Nolan Wells, and I know that there has been. Over this whole year, over the last 2 years, there's been some lynchings in Mississippi, in the state of Mississippi. Now, we did have a young man hanging from a tree here. What was that the end of last year?
Yeah.
And we talked about that ad nauseum. We talked about that a lot until as far as we could get in terms of the information. And if any information popped up on it, that would be a discussion here. We talk about police murders here. We talk about it everywhere, but I don't have to go into every statistical category of a state just because I'm discussing the murder of a young black person in that state. So I don't know if your point was just to say, well, let's talk about the conditions that have improved, but I don't think it has to do.
My only position was.
I don't think it has.
My only position was let's have a full discussion.
I don't think it has anything to do with these murders. And now Kerry Walker Jones. First of all, let me go to my chat room because it's backing up. Ernest Walker says, do you know how many spur of the moment things I did at 25? Tupac just saw the Tyson fight and saw Orlando. He was hyped. He beat dude's ass. We got to stop playing Monday morning quarterback. I'll get back to that comment. Let me keep going.
Yeah.
Walker Jones.
That's a good point, though.
Kerry Walker Jones said they claim her baby daddy did it. I did see where they had interviewed.
Yeah, somebody said that.
Guy, and he said that they had an argument. Sair said felons have jobs and businesses too.
True.
That's very true.
I got cousins that were felons that have jobs and
on YouTube. I don't know how to say this name. Says Jesus 2527?
It's like Jessadai. It's Jessadai.
Okay. He says, "Sup? What's up, my brother? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Woo, chat room is full." Sharita Shaw, how you doing, Sharita?
What up, Sharita?
She said he's not wrong. Who you talking about ain't wrong, Sharita? She said, fuck racism. It'll never change.
That's fucked up. True.
Kerry Walker says all politicians lie, but Republicans lie.
Oh, that's horrible. I love it.
She said, let me see. She said,
that's funny as hell.
Oh, shit, messy Monday.
No, it's not.
Not Orlando.
No, we're not finna go there. We ain't gonna let nobody drag us somewhere.
Hold on. Let me finish reading the chat room, y'all. Sharita says Orlando are trying the audience to be partisan. I think she said, "Are you trying to be partisan?" I don't know.
Trying to get us to be partisan.
She said, "Why do he even chime in? Weird motherfucker." ENC Jordan, and Kerry Walker.
She's a weird lady. She's a cat lady. I could tell.
Here we go. He got to insult her because she don't agree with him.
It's not okay for white people to lynch black people because black people kill each other. Because Orlando, white people kill each other too. So is it okay for black people to start lynching white people? So she's saying, okay, so because you did say, well,
now she a cat lady.
We got killings here. So I don't know. That's your perspective, Orlando. I don't know if you. I know you like to be kind of.
I don't know.
Let me say this, Kev. Let me say this, Kev.
It's a distraction, KB.
Hold on, Ace. The question was on me. What my intention was to be clear. We definitely have a question about any resolved murders and what's going on in Mississippi. But also, let's understand, at the same time, there's some things going on in Mississippi that we can't account for on the positive and negative side. If we're going to talk about the murders, no doubt. And I think, Kev, you kicked it off like what's going on in Mississippi. And my assumption was you're talking about Nolan Wells, like what's going on with that case. But then we started going off into these other cases that we don't have we're rounding up all these other cases going on. Like, hold on, if it's going to be about Nolan, let's focus on Nolan. Because if you're going to bring in other conditions, then I'll bring in the conditions like, while we kind of poop on Mississippi. Mississippi got some good things going on too now with black folks. So let's be clear now. Let's not roll in all these other cases.
But we're not talking about the murders in Mississippi. We're talking about black people being hung from trees.
Hold on.
Why are you distracting?
I'm talking to Kev right now. Bad boys.
That's fine. And you can, like I said, you would never be disrespectful to my face. I'm just interjecting.
Man, whatever.
It's okay, Orlando. You would never say it to my face. It's okay.
Orlando.
What's the kid?
Let me just say this and be very clear. I don't know why you feel like if we're going to talk about the murders of Nolan Wells and his young sister and whoever else was murdered, why you feel like we need to turn and focus on the good things that are coming out of Mississippi. I don't know why you felt like you needed to make that point. But if that's your perspective, it is what it is. But I would encourage you. I would encourage you to go to where you can get that kind of conversation. Like, I don't have time to sit here and talk about all the improvements that the state of Mississippi has made over the last 30 years, because what I was talking about was and this was more of a question for the
because listener. He knows his white supremacy attached to it.
This was more me talking to my audience too, because I wanted them to chime in on if anybody had heard any further developments. That's why I said what's going on in Mississippi.
Nolan Wells, right?
No, I said in Mississippi.
So the question was,
he keeps trying to switch it back to something else, but he doesn't want to talk about Asia, Mr. Reed, and Corey.
Don't make me clear the line. Hold on. I got another caller.
He doesn't want to talk about Tasia.
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on,
Reed?
Hey, Kev, Orlando can't help it, man. He got coon sleeping out of his pores and shit. He can't help himself. You know what I'm saying? That's his job. He signed up for the job as motherfucking coon. And they say, if you keep cooning, we might make you head coon one day. And he's
hold on, no, Ewok. He's a paid representative from the Republican Party, by the way.
Hey, I thought it was my time to talk. Hey, you trying to work hard as hell to be head coon, the head chief in charge, man. And you a pitiful man. You pitiful as hell. You pitiful. You pure deep pitiful, dog. For real. You's a pitiful motherfucker, man. And you come over here, and every time you come over here, I'm gonna give it to you every time.
He's not a sellout.
Rip, partner. I'm gonna give it to him every rip. You know what I'm saying? That's what his job is, to come on here and be a coon. So I'm gonna call it like I see you. Handkerchief head nigga, you sell out. Fall back, whatever. Shut your stuttering stupid ass up. Fuck you and your shit for me.
Oh my God!
Hey, hit that nigga for me when you see him here.
So this is what we're gonna do,
KB.
Because I want everybody to understand this. I have one major pet peeve when I do this show.
Oh my God!
And I've explained this a couple of different times, but I'm gonna explain it again. I can't stand for everyone to talk over each other and yell at each other. Okay, you got it. When someone's talking, you have to just wait until they finish, and then then step in and say what you got to say. I don't care about name calling and all that shit, but I'm not going to allow anybody to muddy the water by just everybody talking over each other. So let me go to my chat room. And if anybody's wondering, I did clear the line. I did hang up everybody on the line, especially because if I can't get a word in, then we don't need to do the show. Right?
No, exactly.
And I'm saying stop talking over each other and everybody's yelling and screaming. This shit just makes no sense. Kerry Walker Jones said, nigga, I don't mess with cats. I tame dogs. Okay. I don't know.
Well, he called her KB. He called her the cat lady. So that's why she said that. I
don't know if he was talking to her or Sharita. I don't know.
No, he called both of them cat ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. I love both of Sharita and Carrie, by the way.
She said, the usual deflection, BS. That's pick me behavior. Sharita Shaw said, why the fuck is he even here? Let me see. Like, I'm gonna get all y'all comments. Give me a second. Y'all know I'm old. Courtney always get on me about the chat room. The juice lady stayed on me about the chat room when she was on here.
Yeah, she did.
Always. That's what she did. Kevin, you be tripping with the chat room.
I love her.
Carrie says Sharita Shaw to piss you off. Laughing my ass off. And then Earl said, "Fuck Donald Trump and his friend Orlando, ass kisser."
Hold on, KB. I just want to interject something, and this is honestly because I was around that party. The reason that Orlando has so much vitriol towards me, period, is because I was around them for years. And one of the reasons I was around them, I wasn't trying to be in their organization. I was trying to understand how they think. And I like certain candidates, like I like certain Democrat candidates, right? But the further right that they got, I just started talking about it. So, long story short, when we were speaking about Mississippi and the hangings and all that other shit, because Orlando specifically, because he's a paid Republican operative, he has to shift it to something else. It's just like when they be like, oh, you know, something happened, and then people will say, oh, whatever, black on black crime. What about black on black crime? They have to shift things so they don't address the things. Odds are the black people, the 3 black people, and let me go ahead and say their names: Tasia Forson, Demontrion Reed, Corey Zuckitis. The odds of them being hung by somebody that voted for President Donald J. Trump is probably in the high 90s. Orlando has been told by the Republican Party, because he receives a check from them, because that's how he makes his money. Anytime you're, you know, on a platform or whatever, don't say anything bad about the Republican Party. Ask Orlando, find the 20 most frustrating things about the Republican Party to an independent voter, say them to him, and ask him to answer it honestly, and he won't, because he can't, because he's being paid. Remember, Kevin, when you said, hey, we do the show as long as we want, and as long as we want is until we turn the show off, because we own the board. He doesn't own the board. He can't do what we do. The reason he mirrors the Republican Party like he does is because he's fucking getting paid by them. So when he talks,
I don't even want to listen. I'm just gonna move forward. I don't.
Yeah, we can move forward. My fault, bro. I just was explaining it to people that don't know.
This is Ace Cooley. He said you need a mute button for some of this ignorant shit. I have a mute button. It's called a hang up button. Because once again, you know, I can't. Like, we got to be able to communicate. Orlando said this bottle dude wanted money, contacts and all. He wanted Republicans to buy his product, and no one would give him a dime, or his friend. Okay.
Oh, he's talking about Paris, and actually, I don't want to say the gentleman's name, but he actually contributed $30,000 to News Undone.
He said Earl is an old fool. Kerry Walker Jones says he finds it hard to deal with himself. So whenever you call people like that out, they get to sounding like they Orange Daddy, mouth full of oats.
That's good.
Orlando said he's a fool. Okay, we know everybody's calling everybody something in the chat room.
Somebody a fool. He a fool.
He says he can't say anything negative about the Republican.
No,
otherwise he's going to get Roland Martin.
Exactly.
And Earl said the job no other black man wants.
Ooh, okay. Ouch.
So let me get to this just to move the show forward, because I'm not going to take a bunch more of y'all time. There has been, and we talked about this on previous shows, ever since we made that announcement that the homicides were down and crime was down in Milwaukee in the first half of the year. Every weekend now, when we get to Monday morning, every morning I'm seeing more and more murder, more homicides, double shootings. But the difference here is I haven't heard the mayor and the police chief and those individuals who were so vocal and happy when they seen that downturn in the statistics. They couldn't wait to get in front of a microphone and talk about, crime is down, as if they were taking responsibility for the decrease in homicides and crime. I haven't seen them now come forward with all of these anti-violence initiatives that have been promised for years and years and years. I have not seen any mention or even any implementation of what's supposed to be there as safeguards to prevent the violence. And the violence is on the uptick right now. It seems like every time I look and when I wake up in the morning and you know, it's like reading a newspaper, there's homicides and there's people being shot and there's people being murdered. The bottom line is we are allowing our elected officials to bamboozle us because they are not doing anything. They can say they have these programs, we have these initiatives, and we're going to get this much money to this. And it's like the same three organizations that are friends with each other consistently passing each other money. Here, you 1.5 for you. Here, you take it back. Okay, now you give it to this person. Okay, give it back to me. It's like a circle in which they just playing catch with a roll of money. And meanwhile, nothing's being done. I talk about this kind of stuff because I want people who are voters to keep these things in mind when it is time to vote. Just like we're up against a primary tomorrow. And if we want to really decide who we want to vote for, let's look back at each individual's record, what they've done, what they stand for, what they propose. Let's vote on some substance, but let's be informed about it. So when it comes time for us to elect a mayor or any other position, or alderman or whatever, we need to hold them accountable for what they did or what they didn't do. And so when we talk about the violence in Milwaukee, I want to see the same fervor when it comes to coming back out now saying, hey, at one point things were down, the trend was downward. Now it's back up. And this is how we're going to move forward in making sure that this is curbed, that we can put a stop to this so we can finish on a positive note. Because the year we're going down the stretch now, it's August. It's about to be September. So what I'd like to see is a city that's more proactive in economic development and more proactive in anti-poverty initiatives and less aggressive in coming up with organization after organization that's supposed to stop violence. And none of them have worked or are working. And that's not to knock the people who work in these organizations. I'm sure you're very passionate, but whoever's in charge of them needs to know it's not working. I see continuous clubs, bars, fights in the street, gunshots, people being murdered, people being killed. And it's young people. So we need to hold our mayor and our police chief accountable. And I don't need another speech from them telling us what we need to do as citizens when we pay you, when the police have a $500 million budget and the mayor makes X amount of dollars per year. We need for you all to be problem solvers. We don't need for you to keep coming up with speeches and coming up with press conferences. We need results. Now, let me go back to the chat room. Let me see. Oh man, people chat room be popping, y'all. Y'all don't understand how this outlaw.
It do. It's wild, dog.
it be tapping. It be popping, man. Let me see. Kerry Walker Jones said a murder a day keeps their pockets in play. Death is profitable. Okay. Sharita Shaw said the bottom line is we never have sex, Orlando. Huh?
I don't know what the fuck she talking about with that one.
Yeah, I'm confused on that one. Orlando said, Ace, fall back, my man. Mute discourse. Okay.
Stupid shit, bro. Like he's
Ernest says Orlando wife cheating on him while he bring that slave money home. She don't give a fuck where the money comes from.
Yikes. Why he bring his wife into it? Yeah. Hold on, before you go on, KB. Everybody out there, let's not involve the wives and daughters and kids. And I'm not saying Ewok, I'm not shitting on you. It's just because that nigga did that shit to me. He was talking about my kids because they biracial, they not as black, and that shit was really insulting. And I really wanted to fuck him up over that shit. Don't do that, dog. That's his wife and shit. I've never seen her on social media. Let's not do that, man, because that make a nigga want to kill somebody. So don't do that, dog.
Ace says, Kev, you know statistics is bullshit. Hold on. You know statistics is bullshit. If you're talking to motherfuckers that live in Cudahy, Greendale, or South Milwaukee, you're going to get different answers. Yeah. Than a motherfucker on the north side. Stats can be manipulated. Well, you could say that, Ace, but the fact of the matter is, the bottom line is, at one point this year, we had less murders than we had at this point last year. And that's what the comparison is. Now, the murders have ramped, the occurrence of the murders and the homicides have ramped up. So it ain't necessarily about me, believing in statistics. It's about the reality that we all can see with our own two eyes. He said, is she giving him the reach around? LOL. Orlando Owen said, what about county executive and the sheriff? They are not over the city of Milwaukee, Orlando. So, this, I don't know why you brought them up.
It's a distraction always, KB. He got to distract, bro.
Ernest Walker said, fuck Orlando and fuck his wife, too. Okay, well, like I said,
that's not cool. And I don't even like Orlando, bro.
Disrespect the man's wife. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't like Orlando, but I would never say anything about his wife that actually gave birth to his child. They got a beautiful family. It's just he's an asshole. Let's not hold the kids and the wife responsible for that. That's not cool.
So look here, y'all. It is 9:30. So I've been trying to be efficient with the shows over the last few weeks. Try to usually get out of here before 10 o'clock. So I'm gonna shut this whole thing down because there's so much more that we could talk about and we could go on all night. But I want to encourage people to get to those polls tomorrow. And me, as a black man, I'm gonna say, forget all the fireworks and forget all the bells and whistles and the smoke and mirrors. Vote black. If you're black, vote black.
Hold on.
Vote black. Solidarity is the most important thing that we could possibly achieve, and I think you all need to realize that. So we don't need to jump out here trying to jump on some democratic socialist.
Yes. I got one question for you though, big bro. Who do you think? And it's funny because when it comes to your perspective specifically, because I understand that you kind of have a higher understanding of how a lot of things work. So I'm gonna ask you, what's your pick? Who you think win as far as the Democratic primary? We know Tiffany gonna win on the Republican side, but as far as the Democratic side, who do you think gonna win? Do you think David is gonna beat Hung? I don't know, bro. It's gonna be close though, KB. But who do you think? Who do you think is gonna win?
My gut feeling is that Hung will edge David because I think
I feel you.
Northern Wisconsin is so anti-black.
Yeah,
that they couldn't possibly stomach a black person having an opportunity to take Madison.
You're probably right.
I will say, brother David has a chance if South Wisconsin get up off their ass and go to the polls. And I think too, if we really want to talk about what's best for the state, then we talk about diplomacy. We talk about people who have experience. David has been a leader for a very long time. And so he's been effective in that position, and she hasn't. She's at this point, she's a dreamer to me. And then anybody can come up with
no, you're absolutely right. She's not David. She's not Mandela either.
Anybody can come up with a bunch of outside the box concepts, but we'll see how you really operate when you're put in a position to lead. So my gut feeling is Hung will win it. But I'm hoping that, the people in this state vote for my brother. And that he wins. So, we'll see. But we'll see. You never know. Tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow.
You got comments, though, if you don't want to end the show yet.
Mama Jenkins says vote. Right? That's the most important thing, that you vote. A says, this is Earl saying White Conson. A says, ask Orlando, is he party affiliated? He's a well-known Republican. We know he's affiliated, Ace.
Yes, he is.
Well, said Ian be at work Wednesday.
I do. I apologize, but I'm gonna be on the show probably, KB. If the show goes on, I'll be on by like 8:45. Yeah, I do work late. I apologize, guys. I miss you guys.
I'll be here Wednesday because we're gonna have to talk about the primary. So we definitely
okay. Yeah, I'll be closer to 9, but I can't wait, man. I'm excited.
So Orlando says, let the bottom dwellers eat what they eat. Feast for all of those who have weird input. And you can all hold that.
I'm gonna make fun of his ass. I got a skit halfway written. I'm finna clown his ass.
He said he's saying fuck the ladies in the comments. They got a man and husband too. He ain't special. Okay, I didn't see that Ewok. I didn't see him say anything disrespectful.
Well, he was calling them cat ladies and shit. That's what I think he's referring to.
Orlando Owen said, "Let the leaners speak." The
leaners.
Oh, let the left leaners speak.
Hey, okay. Anybody that doesn't agree with him 100%, big bro, he call them left leaners. Dude, it's funny. Like, one thing I do have to give Orlando credit on, he gets shit on by, as far as his opinion, but he still called the show. I got to give him props. I do appreciate it. I do. It is what it is.
Right. Listen, once again, it's all about Black solidarity. I don't want anything that was said on the show to gloss over that fact. This, and as a foundational Black American, I think it's very important that we get to the point that we are concerned about us. So when we start to talk about injustices or things that we suffer, we don't need to water that down by trying to broaden the picture, trying to reference something else or some political belief or some leader. We need to stick to our guns and talk about us and focus on us, because without focus, we're never going to get where we need to be, man. So listen, y'all be smart, man. I appreciate everybody. Like I say, anytime anybody calls in, anytime anybody's in the chat room, I appreciate the love. You all are seriously the reason why I keep doing this, because heaven knows I don't feel like it, but I know that a lot of people are expecting to hear the show, and they show us a lot of love and support.
Yes.
We do it. So I just ask that you share the show, man. Keep your head on the swivel, man. Y'all be easy, man. I want to ask you before we go in, what is your prediction? Since you asked me, what's your prediction for tomorrow night?
My prediction tomorrow night, I hate to say it, KB, and I just want to say before we get off, thank you, brother. You've built a platform that literally is one of the most important platforms, because you come from a perspective that's in the middle, and it's not corrupted. You just have your opinion, and it's like, boom, boom, this is how I feel. Not left-leaning or right-leaning. It's just like, man, this is how I feel. Thank you. And you give us all a platform to speak. But to answer your question, I hate to say it, though, because of everything we talked about and what we know historically about Wisconsin, bro, they're going to support a fucking Hmong woman that hates Thanksgiving before they'll support a Black man. That's my opinion, because I'm from Wisconsin. And that it is what it is. But you know what? Thank you again, KB. I really want to reiterate this. Guys, everyone, like and share the platform. And the reason it's needed is because it comes from a different perspective. Like, how many people that's an independent, or let's just say left or right leaning, that'll have the opposite thinking point on their show? Most people like Kevin wouldn't even allow Orlando to be on the show, and wouldn't even allow somebody like Dion to be on the show. So we really have to respect that, because that's kind of going away, y'all. Y'all don't understand not y'all don't understand. I think a lot of you do, but so many people don't understand how important a platform like Outlaw Radio is. And you got the comments going, you got comments popping up back up, KB.
It's all good, man. Peace and love. I will see y'all Wednesday. We'll talk about the aftermath for all of this, man. Peace and love, man. Y'all be cool.
Love y'all, man. God bless. Fanboy. All right. Thank you, Orlando. I love you too.